Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube lecture video series of the subject Basic Electrical Engineering. Myself Ankil Sa, and in previous video we have already started the chapter AC circuits. So in this video we are going to study the concept of vector representation of any alternating quantity. So why we need to represent any alternating quantity in vector form? First of all, we have studied two different type of quantities in electrical branch. One is the AC circuits and another one is the DC circuits. So DC current and AC current is having some difference, and that difference is DC current is a scalar quantity because it does not change its magnitude as well as direction. So we do not need to represent that DC current or a voltage in vector form because it can be easily added, subtracted, and you can do any mathematical formulas to that DC current or a voltage. But in case of AC quantities are a vector quantity and AC quantities are changing its magnitude as well as the direction. So it is difficult to add or subtract or multiply or divide the vector quantities. So we need to define that alternating quantity in vector form so we can easily get any mathematical action on that vectors. So now let's see how the alternating quantity is represented by vector. For that we have already studied that we have considered one coil, and that coil was placed in the electromagnetic field. So here we are considering one current versus time graph, that is the sinusoidal waveform. So instead of representing that quantity in the waveform manner, we will represent that current quantity in vector form. So how we can define vectors at different angles, that is going to be explained in this video. So you can see that there is one current versus time waveform is here, and here we have taken one circle, and this circle represents the angular movement of your coil. So now let's see how the vector can be represented at different angles, because you can see in this waveform you can find the magnitude at the desired angle. If you want to find the magnitude at 0 degree from this waveform, you can put 0 degree here and you can see that there is a zero current. At 90 degree there is a maximum current. At 180 degree one positive half cycle is completed, and at 360 degree one full cycle is completed. But how we can define our vector at different angles? So that is discussed with respect to this circle. So let's see. First, we have taken O point, that is the starting point, and we have taken the maximum magnitude from that waveform to the radius of this circle. So the radius of circle is nothing but the maximum magnitude of this waveform. So let's define OA. So OA is nothing but the first position of our coil, and we know that in the first position of coil the flux linking with the coil is maximum, but still no EMF will be induced in that coil, because according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the flux should be changed, and here maximum flux is linking with this coil at OA position, but there is no change in flux, so there will be no EMF and there will be no current flowing through that coil. So we can say that this is an OA vector, first vector, which is having zero current. So you can define that OA vector here, and according to respect to this OA vector you can define one point in that waveform at zero angle. So this is our first vector we can define at 0 degree. So whenever in this chapter we are discussing that our vector is at 0 degree or our vector is at reference position, then you must have to use this OA position, because this is the reference position. So now let's consider another point. If our coil is rotated anti-clockwise from this OA degree, so this is OA degree, and if our coil is rotated in anti-clockwise direction, for example, let's say that coil is rotated at some degree theta and at point B, so there will be OB vector. Coil has rotated by this angle theta and point is B. So this OB vector represents the magnitude of current at this position. And in waveform, if we compare this B point to this waveform, then you can see that there is a B point. So you can find the magnitude at a B point from this waveform also, and you can find the magnitude from vector from this diagram also. So let's see if our coil is rotated by some more further angle, let's say at 90 degree. So this is the OC. You can see that there is a OC degree. So vector OC represents the maximum magnitude of your quantity. And in this waveform, if you compare this C point, you can see that there is the maximum value of this current you have reached. So basically, at OA point, there was zero magnitude of current. At OA point, there will be some magnitude in waveform and also vectors. And at OC degree, you can see waveform is represented here. And the magnitude of that waveform, you can see that that is the peak value, maximum value. Now let's move further our coil in anti-clockwise direction. Let's say that OD. So this OD vector represents this D if compared to this waveform. Then you can see that this OD is nothing but the D point in your waveform. And this D point in your waveform is representing the OD vector, the vector's magnitude at D point. Now let's further move our vector in anti-clockwise direction. Let's say that if you want to represent your vector at 180 degree. So what you have to do? You have to just rotate. So what you have to do is you have to just rotate that vector in anti-clockwise direction at 180 degree. So here it was 0 degree and here it is 180 degree. So this OE vector is representing the value and the direction of your vector, your alternating quantity at 180 degree. So here OE represents the E point from this wave. If we further rotate our coil in anti-clockwise direction, for example, if we rotate our coil at some another angle at F, so the vector representing OF will contribute the magnitude in the waveform. You can see that in the red line there is a F point, but this is in the reverse direction, this is in the negative direction, because in upper half the coil has rotated completely and now coil is rotating in the lower half. So N and S pole is reversed, coil has reversed the polarity, and that's why now magnitude will be obtained in the reverse side, in the negative side. So this at F point you can see that from this alternating currents waveform, at this F point you can find the magnitude of this alternating current, and from this vector also you can find the length at that point, and you can measure the angle from reference, and that will be your quantity, vector quantity, that is your alternating quantity represented in vector form. If further we rotate our coil at 270 degree, so at 270 degree there will be OG vector, and with reference to this OG vector you can see there is in waveform there is a negative maximum, and at this position you can get the negative maximum of your alternating quantity. Similarly, let's say that at some point H, so at some point H, our vector again has rotated by some angle, and this H point also representing in this negative half cycle. So this negative half cycle's H point in this alternating cycle is representing some vector, and that vector can be represented at this position OH. So we can say that the magnitude of that vector can be calculated by the length of that vector, and the angle should be calculated from the reference 0 degree to that point. So in this way you can represent so many vectors from any waveform, and vector representation of any alternating quantity is very easy. We can apply many mathematical operations on these vector quantities. If we use our alternating quantity in waveform manner, then there is if we represent our alternating quantity in this waveform form, then it will be tedious. It will be very time consuming and mathematical all operations may be not possible for the used data. So this vector diagram method is very useful. And again, if we complete our cycle at OA point, that is 360 degree. So at 360 degree, you can see that our coil is now in the same position as it has started. And in waveform also you can see that the waveform has been completed at this point A. So A to A waveform is one cycle is completed. And in this circle also you can say that we have started from A point A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and we have reached to A point again. We have started from A point and we have reached to the A point back. That is 360 degree rotation. And we have represented different vectors in this circle at 0 degree, 90 degree, 270 degree, 180 degree, 360 degree. So in this manner, you can represent any alternating quantity in vector form. And it has so many benefits to represent any alternating quantity in vector form. So this was all about the representation of the vectors. Now let's see importance of vector representation. So the first important is it is very difficult to represent the alternating quantity in terms of waveforms and mathematical equations. Whereas in vector diagram, in vector form, you have to just represent a line. And that line itself tells whole data of that alternating quantity. If our one line is drawn at some angle 190 degree, for example, so the magnitude of that line will be the magnitude of your alternating quantity, and angle from 0 to that vector will be the angle of rotation of your alternating quantity. So we can easily find the phase angle and the magnitude from the vector diagram. Another advantage is that in addition and subtraction of two alternating quantities, it is tedious. In waveform manner, we cannot add or subtract very easily. Also, it is time consuming in terms of mathematical equations. And in vector form, it can be easily added, it can be easily subtracted. Hence, the method which representing the alternating quantity in easier way is nothing but the vector representation. So that's why we are using the vector representation of any alternating quantity. There are some limitations of vector representation and they are as we know, generally the alternating quantity is represented by RMS value. Hence the projection y-axis does not give the instantaneous value. So the first limitation is we know that the whole value represented in vector representation was in RMS form. So if all the data, if the magnitude of that line is in RMS form, then we cannot find the instantaneous value. So we have to multiply that RMS value, then we can get the instantaneous value at any angle. We have studied the RMS value, instantaneous value, form factor, peak factor. So you can find the instantaneous value from the RMS value, but you cannot find the instantaneous value directly. Whereas in waveform representation, you can find the instantaneous value at any angle. So this was the first limitation of the vector representation. Second limitation is the vector is assumed to be rotated in anti-clockwise direction. So that is the assumptions you have to make in vector representation. In the whole syllabus of basic electrical engineering, we will always assume that our vector, our coil is rotated in anti-clockwise direction. And the third disadvantage is two alternating quantities of different frequencies cannot be represented by the vector diagram. In one vector diagram, we cannot represent two different vector quantities having different frequencies. So this was the limitation of our vector representation. Now let's see one important definition related to this vector representation, and that definition is the phase difference. So what do you mean by phase difference? We have already studied this definition in the previous videos. You can refer to that videos. Again, I am explaining you the concept of phasor difference. So let's see first definition of the phasor difference. So the definition is the phase difference or phase angle of alternating quantity may be defined as the angle of lead or lag with respect to the reference axis or with respect to another waveform is known as the phase difference. Means if one quantity is started at some degree from our reference degree 0, then we can say that this is having this much of phase difference. If one quantity is started at some theta 1 degree and if another quantity has started at theta 2 degree, then we can say that this two quantity has not started at the same point. So there is some phase difference. The quantity which started after first quantity is said to be lagging quantity, and the quantity which started just before our second quantity is said to be a leading quantity. Another definition of the phase difference is the phase difference may be defined as the difference between the phases of the two alternating quantity, or the angle difference between the two vectors representing the two alternating quantities. If one vector is represented at 0 degree and if one vector is represented at 90 degree, if one vector is represented at 0 degree and another vector is represented at 90 degree, then we can say that there is a phase difference of 90 degree. If one waveform is started from 0 degree and if one waveform is started at 90 degree, then we can say that there is a phase difference of 90 degree between these two alternating quantity, or you can say between these two vectors. So this was phase difference. Now let's discuss what is zero phase difference. So you can see in this waveform there is one alternating quantity, that is the voltage quantity. Voltage versus some phase angle or the time. So this is represented by E1. And let's see another quantity, that is E2, and you can see that this E1 and E2 quantities are having zero phase difference, because you can see in this figure that both quantities are starting from 0, both quantities are increasing in the same direction, reaching their maximum at the same time, decreasing at the same time. Both completes their positive half cycle at the same time, that is 180 degree. Both completes their full cycle at 360 degrees. So we can say that these two quantities are not having any phase difference. They are having the zero phase difference. That two quantities are in phase. So this was the definition of the in phase quantity. Now let's see the leading or lagging phase difference. What do you mean by leading phase difference and what do you mean by lagging phase difference? So again, let's take the waveform, and in this waveform again we are taking voltage versus some phase, and we have represented one E1 as a reference, and this E1 is started from 0 and completed at 360 degrees, so we can take this E1 as a reference. Now let's take some another quantity E2, which is not started at the same angle at the same time as E1 has started. So there will be some phase difference. You can see that the angle phi is there because that another quantity has been started after the first quantity by 5 degree. First quantity has started at 0 degree and another quantity has started at 5 degree after the first quantity. So we can say that there is a phase difference. And you can say that E2 lags behind the E1 by 5 degree. And also you can say that E1 leads from E2 by 5 degree. The vector which has first started will be in leading than the other, and the vector which has started some angle after the first angle will be the lagging vector. So you can say that this is the leading and lagging quantities. So this was all about the vector representation, phasor difference, in phase, lagging, leading vectors. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned.